Hello, welcome to the Gym RPG show. So today I was going to talk about the 3070 Ti and the 3060 Ti, but just at the last minute there was some news and yep, you guessed it, it was the 3080 Ti, right on schedule, right? Because AMD is going to have a big announcement on their big Navi in a couple of days' time. So we'll go over the tweets first, and then we'll get to the specs and the details of the GPUs, and then finally we'll talk about whether you should buy these new Ti cards or the existing models. So if you like this video, why not subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Now the tweets come from Copite7Kimmy, and you really have to wonder if it's not Jensen himself. But anyway, in the first tweet, Copite7Kimmy writes, I heard a new spec of GA102 which is between 3080 and 3070. The model number is GA102 150KDA1 and it has 7424 CUDA cores and it's on a 320-bit memory bus. It has 10GB of G6X RAM. The TGP is 320 watts, and basically it's an emergency product for the 6800 XL, which I'm assuming he's comparing it to the Navi 21 XL, and it seems like it's the new GTX 465. Now that was a few days ago on the 22nd of October 2020, and today he tweeted out, Jesus, a new spec of GA102 between 3080 and 3090. The model number is GA102 250A1. It has 9984 CUDA cores and it's on a 384-bit bus with G6X memory. So let's try and put all of this together, and we'll start with the RTX 3080 Ti. Now this is basically a cut down version of the 3090. And as we've said, it has 9984 CUDA cores, so that's about 93% of the GPU utilization. And I'm assuming here that because all of the other cards boost to around 1700 MHz, that this card will probably do the same. So that means it's going to have about 34 ampere teraflops. Now in terms of memory, I'm making an assumption here. And because it's on a 384-bit bus, I think they're going to go with 12 gigabytes of memory instead of 24 gigabytes. And I think they're just going to leave the 3090 in the market for people who want that higher VRAM variance. In terms of performance between the 3090 and the 3080, based on the number of CUDA cores, it looks to be closer to the 3090 than it is to the 3080. So I'm going to go with around 132% of the 2080 Ti here. So that's going to be very close to the 3090. So effectively, this is going to be a 3090 replacement. In terms of price, that's ultimately going to depend on what happens with the big Navi card reveal. But I would say that they would probably be targeting that $1,000 price, which is basically halfway in between the 3080 and the 3090. Now let's have a look at the 3070 Ti, and this is a cut down 3080 GPU. It has 7424 CUDA cores, and that's roughly about 70% of the full die. Now using a 1700 MHz boost clock, that roughly gives us about 25 ampere teraflops, and that basically puts it right smack bang in the middle between the 3070 and the 3080. Now the good news is that it also uses 10 gigabytes of G6X, and because the price of the 3070 is $499 and the 3080 is $699, I'm expecting that this will be around $599. Now let's talk about the 3060 Ti, and this looks to be a cut down 3070 GPU, and it has about 79% of the GPU utilization of the full GA104 die. It has 4864 CUDA cores, and again at the 1700 MHz mark, it will probably do around 16.5 ampere teraflops. And I think effectively what that means is, if the 3070 is a 2080 Ti, then that would make the 3060 Ti basically a 2080 Super replacement. And I think if that's the case, then this would basically be the console equivalent. So it's going to be pretty much the same as a Xbox Series X and probably slightly better than a PS5. So the question is, should you buy one of these new Ti cards, and are they better than what they're actually replacing? Well, I think actually the question is in two parts, because one, there is the enthusiast model, which is the RTX 3090, and then there are also the mainstream models, which is the 3080 and the 3070. So for the 3090 and the replacement, which is the 3080 Ti, yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good deal if this is around $999. So if you are looking to get a 3090, then I would probably suggest waiting around just a little bit longer so that you can get one of these 3080 Ti cards. Now, having said that, I actually think the 3080 is still the better deal between the 3080 and the 3080 Ti. And that's because there wasn't much of a difference between the 3080 and the 3090 anyway. There really is only about 10% difference between the two cards. So you're going to be paying about $300 for that extra 7 or 8%. So I still think the 3080 is the better deal here at $699. Now for the 3070 Ti and the 3060 Ti, I think the 3070 Ti is a pretty good deal. There's about 12 to 13% less performance in the 3070 Ti, but you also save 15% of the money. So if you don't think you need that extra 15% performance, if you're going to be upgrading in the next generation anyway, so that would be the 40 series, then you might as well get the 3070 Ti, because really at the very high frame rate levels, you're not really going to feel the difference that much. So there's not going to be much of a difference between, say, 130 frames and 120 frames per second. You're only going to really notice the difference at the end of its life cycle. So when you get down to like about 45 frames per second versus, say, 60 frames per second. So if you're going to upgrade quickly, then I guess you can get a 3070 Ti card and save that $100. Now for the 3060 Ti, you are dropping about 15% of the performance, and as you get closer to console performance, you do start noticing your card getting a little bit slower more quickly than, say, a higher end card. And that's because the console targets 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second. So if they're targeting 30 frames per second, then you're also going to be around that level of performance. And also another way to think about the 3060 Ti is, would you pay an extra $100 to jump up from the 2080 Super to the 2080 Ti? I think a lot of people would have made the decision to jump up to the 2080 Ti for an extra $100, which is effectively what the 3070 is. It's the 2080 Ti. But overall, you really should just spend whatever your budget is. So if your budget is $500, just buy the 3070. Don't even worry about looking at the 3070 Ti or the 3080, and just enjoy the card that you have. Because at the end of the day, the money that you save now can be put towards another upgrade later on down the track. Alright, that's it for this one. Make sure to click the like button if you like this video, and also to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.